Hi there. I'm here with Matt Hong, the illustrious saxophonist. He plays lead alto in the Neal Kirkwood Big Band, and we just finished recording, among many other things. So I'm interviewing band members and just having them share their musical journey with you so you can get to know them a little better. So here's Matt.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Hong. I play, well, I guess I always think of myself mainly as an alto player, but my journey in New York has taken me through all the woodwinds. And I came to town in '92 to go to Manhattan School of Music. That was my excuse to come to New York. And I got a master's there. I felt like I was an old guy already in my mid-20s. Let's see, played for a number of years with a bunch of swing bands, which it was kind of a fad in the 90s, and wound up getting some chances to play on a Broadway show, and that wound up kind of taking my career onto Broadway. But I've been freelancing with lots of big bands. I first met Illinois Jacquette in the 80s at Harvard, where I did my undergraduate. And about 10 years later, I wound up getting to play in his big band, and got to tour a little bit towards the end of his career. So that was a real highlight.
You know, something that's been really interesting. How did you start? What motivated you to first pick up the saxophone?
Well, when I was in fourth grade, the band director from the middle school came and visited us, and he showed us all the instruments. And he said, when he got to the saxophone, he said, well, this one is the most expensive and the most breakable, and but it's the absolute easiest to play. So I said, well, I'm pretty good with my toys, and my folks will come up with the money, so if it's less work for me.
Very practical.
Yeah, very practical. Of course, he turned out to be really wrong, but that's what it was. And my cousin played trumpet, and I was jealous of him, but I didn't want to play what he played. So,
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in, well, this was in Pennsylvania. I grew up a lot of different places, but went to middle school and high school in Vermont, southern Vermont, and then went to Boston to Harvard to get my undergraduate, and wasn't even a music major at the time. But what I did do was discover Jerry Bergonzi's studio, and I got to study with Jerry Bergonzi for a number of years while I was in college, and then after I graduated. And that was kind of the foundation for my desire to play, all the tools that I needed. I mean, he was a great teacher, and that he was so systematic and organized, which I really needed, and he also taught me how to teach myself. So I studied with him for a number of years, and then kicked around Boston and tried to play as much as I could. I had some day jobs, and then eventually I decided I had to get out of a small town and come to New York. So that was Manhattan School of Music was my way of doing that.
All right. Yeah, well, so great to hear. And maybe tell us a little bit about your take on our recording and what's going to come out of it.
Was, you know, I first met Neal. I rented studio time. He had a wonderful little studio that has since gone
legendary.
Yeah, it's legendary in Times Square, and that's where I met him. And I think shortly after that, I started getting called to do his big band, and his writing immediately struck me as original, beautiful, really deeply rooted. I hear elements of Ellington, and everything is swinging, and but totally original. And Neal's one of those writers where you know, as an instrumentalist in a large ensemble, you always want to feel relevant, even when you're in a supporting role. And everything that Neal writes feels to me like my part is important, and every voice in the band is important, and that's really rare, and it makes every chart, every arrangement a joy to play, and a challenge, and you feel like you can put yourself into every part, even though it's his vision. It's like your part is and that's the goal. I think with great music in jazz is to have personal expression, and even in a large ensemble setting. And I think he's one of the finest composers, writers. Every chart is like a universe to me, and so it's been a joy recording, and I think the album's going to be amazing.
Okay.
It felt like, okay, this is something really important. So I hope people hear it, and it really makes an impression. It deserves. We've been rehearsing for a number of years, and done some gigs, but I think it was time to do this record.
Absolutely.
It really feels like something special. So I'm looking forward. I can't wait to hear it. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
though
a few more months of work,
Yeah.
put it all together, but
Yeah.
it'll be out there, and I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to sharing it with everybody out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Matt.
All right. See you soon. See you in Jazzland.
That's right.